Hello, and thank you for clicking on the video. Welcome to another video in the Skaven Weapons Team Off Meta series. In this one, we're going to be watching a cast game between Corsair 831 and Pizu. Corsair, of course, playing the Skaven, and Pizu playing as Kislev. This is a tournament game, a first round game between these two players, and I think it's going to be a fun one. Corsair 831 is the originator of this off-meta style of mass weapon teams, Skaven, Poison Rats, Skaven Sorcerers. So let's get right into it. Right off the bat, I like what I'm seeing from our Skaven player, which is the mass of wolf rats to take these objectives early on. Three wolf rats are going to run up uncontested and be able to take objective 2. Let's take a look at the heroes for the two players. So for our Skaven player, we have a Master Assassin. Excuse me, really nice foot character. He's very cheap and has some nice melee stats. Looks like no items on him, but will be a nice duelist to help support the Master Assassin, who has Looming Dread and the Sacred Banner of the Horned Rat. Looming Dread is a really nice ability to go with this shooting style. You can pop it on a Lord for missile resist and melee defense if your two characters are going in to try and goon that character. And then a 45% slow is really nice because that will kind of slow up potentially an enemy lord, so your shooting, say Ratling guns, can get some shots off. Eshin Sorcerer coming up as well. He will have Skitter Leap, really cool ability. I'm on one I don't think it really exists for any other roster. I mean, there's probably one out there, but going unspottable and stock on any unit has a lot of applications that I think people really have not explored, and Corsair is really bringing out and kind of making it thrive. So we'll see how he uses it in this game. And of course, Veil of Shadows, the spell that does nothing on the undercast and then does a nice speed, leadership, and silence on the overcast. So for the rest of the Skaven army, we have one poison, one globe, two globes, the teeth breakers, the ROR rattling guns, which they're hidden at the moment. I don't know if they've popped their smoke bombs. Might just be behind that hill. Two Warpfire throwers, a nice unit. Don't do AP damage, so I'm not sure of the applications against Kislev, but we'll see what they brought. The Wolf Hearts, the ROR Akshina Ambushers, a really solid. They did lose their AP damage. Akshina's used to do AP and shooting, was a very, very disgusting unit. But they do have the Pack Trap, which is a really nice net, which they get 3 of. So very solid unit. Going to be an Ice Witch on a Frost Worm, the kind of the classic Skaven meta, or sorry, Kislev meta at the moment. The Frost Worm, a very powerful monster. It's got the Snow Leopard summon. It has Ice Maiden's Kiss for a little more damage. Little Grom, and then it looks like a wall of armored and basic Kossars. All right, awesome. So let's see what happens. The Skaven hero is going to take objective 1. Kislev slowly making its way up. Objective 2 is going to go to the wolf rats, the little rats that could. And the Skaven weapons team are moving up into position now. So we'll just posturing at the moment from the two opponents. Let's fast forward a little bit as they get into position.
Keep it from the foe.
Skaven, it's a little Grom shot. So the pressure is going to first be applied by Kislev. Looks like it was not targeted, but a shot hit that Warpfire thrower unit and did some nice damage. Kislev going to be summoning in. Is that more Kossars? Nope, the Griffin Legion. So a really cool unit for Kislev here. These rock hard Slavs with heavy armor. Really cool looking design from CA on these guys. Oh, yeah. What is Skaven going to be summoning in? Saving in more weapons teams. I love to see it. Or no, is that the Teeth Breakers? No, that's just the Teeth Breakers. No Collins yet from Corsair. Just doesn't need to, I suppose. He's got 2 objectives, has the advantage. A nice points lead to begin things. So really just biding his time. Going to be summoning in Skaven Slaves and more Globes. Globes are going to do really well against the armor of Kislev here. These armored Kossars with their pistols. Yeah. Some more positioning here, more build up. We'll fast forward again as these two armies open. We have a play. The first real aggression from Kislev is going to be moving two armored Kossars to try and take the middle from Skaven, who respond by moving some Skaven slaves, some of the chaff of the army into position. Doesn't look like they're going to contest the objective. Let's see if there was any more call-ins. We have Teeth Notes, still the Teeth Breakers, a wide Skaven build-up. More Cav makes sense from Kislev, getting ready to dive the Skaven positions. But that is going to be objective 2 taken, so Skaven will have to respond now, but they have plenty of time with a large points advantage, so we'll see what their play is. These units are stealth, the Assassin and the Master Assassin. They did pop concealment bombs, making them extra stealthy, so curious to see what their plan is. Looks like they're moving into melee just to duel with those armored Kossars. Not a bad idea. A little dangerous to be near the Ice Witch, but we'll see how it plays out. Oh, and we do have, oh, so this is so cool right here. So what he did, you can see these units are unspottable in stock. If you cast Overcasted Skitterleap, it creates an area of effect for stock and unspottable. So he popped that in an area around these wolf rats who have just now been revealed. So from the Kislev player's perspective, these units were gone. They didn't exist until just right now. So they started, he saw them over there back in the distance in his opponent's side of the map, and 3 wolf rats have just appeared out of nowhere. So it's really discombobulating as a player to see that. So we'll see where he ends up sending them. Looks like the target is some Kossars. He does see them now with the Griffin Legion. Going to be summoning in more Griffin Legion. Going to just lance down this unit of wolf rats, but this one is going to get a great charge onto the Kossars, and look at that damage from the wolf rats. Oh my god, what is that just the wolf rats doing this damage? That's crazy. Wolf rats do have a pretty solid stat line, and you may look at that stat line and be like, that doesn't do that much damage, what's going on? But what happens is wolf rats have such a small model that when they attack a unit, basically every model in the wolf rat unit gets into combat. So while a cavalry unit might only get, say, the front or second line into combat, literally, like almost every model in the unit is going to get in there and do some heavy damage. So the other 2 wolf rats are routed off, but that one in the front is going to get really solid damage. Master Assassin did take a lot of work from inside that armored Kossar unit, so a little risky for him. But moving on to the next unit, and the Skaven Tide comes in to surround, and behind it is the real damage, the globes, the Warpfire throwers, and the Rattling guns. Kislev desperately trying to get their backline under control, but another Kossar unit going down. Armored Kossars in the front are routed. Nice Ice Blast there from the Ice Witch, doing solid damage to a couple units. Akshinas get some work in on some hounds over here. Griffin Legion are going to slap up these Skaven slaves. Little Grom firing off, doing good work onto the weapons teams. Pizu with a very solid damage lead at the moment, but not on points. The front line is starting to rout for the Skaven slaves in the middle as the Griffin Legion crash forward. But in the background, the Master Assassin could be in danger now as the Griffin Legion turn back. But the guns have arrived. Globes are going off, dusting these Kossars. Look at that Rattling gun fire on the enemy lord, just pounding that Ice Witch, forcing her back. Pizu is going to send a Snow Leopard, try and shut down that unit. Good choice. Akshinas need to turn on to these weapons teams before the weapons teams turn on to them. On this flank, Griffin Legion have routed some more wolf rats, but rat ogres are coming in to kind of which are a solid counter to the Griffin Legion. Some rats in the distance there need to be brought back. Skaven slaves getting hit with a blast there in the front. Kossars grinding it out over here. Master Assassin is really low. Could be in danger if the Ice Witch turns and sees that, but might not see it at the moment. Warp Grinders are going to get a slow. It looks like they might have missed. So the Warp Grinder unit, if anyone's hasn't seen these guys, you don't see them very often for Skaven, but they have some really cool abilities. One being the Seismic Snare, which locks enemy units in place, which is really useful for weapons teams. Say you need to peel off a Snow Leopard from your Teeth Breaker unit, you could pop that snare and then potentially shoot him with another unit. I believe this is a summon though, so this unit is going to disappear in a second, so probably not worth it to use the snare on it. Oh, epic last samurai charge as the Griffin Legion lance into the Rattling guns, but there are some Skaven slaves to provide a little cushioning, so they might survive. Dervishes here need to get busy on the flank. This flank could be in serious danger for Skaven, but really nice Warp Grinder positioning is going to give a lot of buffering. Going to prevent the Cav from just running them over. Here in the middle, Master Assassin needs to get out of there. Ice Witch probably should turn around and go for him. Oh, and the Warp Grinder snare here, dropping its damage ability, Warp Quake. And look at the damage going in on this Cav. Just melting them there with their warp drills. Ice Witch is coming in to try and save the situation, but I think this is a loss here for Kislev in the center. More guns pushing forward. Warpfire getting into combat, which is not what they want. Veil of Darkness going down. Looks like it didn't quite hit that unit, so slow. Maybe it might have been an undercast on accident, the one that doesn't do anything, it looks like. Back on this flank, we do have, looks like the Warp Grinders did get their target and did some damage here. Guns are falling back from Skaven. If these Rattling Teethbreakers get free in turn, oh, and these aren't armored Kossars, so the Warpfire throwers, which normally wouldn't do much against an armored Kossars, they are melting these Kossars. Does trigger by our blood, so they will be routing. Excuse me. After 30 seconds. Wolfheart's still shooting, having a really solid game so far. Ice Witch is starting to bully the Skaven army. And did we lose the Master Assassin? Is he still out there? I think the Master Assassin might have gone down. Let's check on these Skaven units. Leadership. Nope, so he's still out there somewhere, scurrying around. In the middle, Skaven slaves battling armored Kossars. Cav are routing a lot of Skaven units, but the guns are still active here. And look at that damage coming down on the Griffin Legion. And the suppression of the fire is going to be really helpful. Nice pack trap from Pizu here, going to allow the Griffin Legion and the Ice Witch to collapse into these wolf rats, but the fire from the Warpfire throwers and the Rattling guns is probably going to put that Griffin Legion out, especially if the Warp Grinders can get a snare in. Looks like they won't need it by our blood procced. Assassin they're running. Oh, and the Master Assassin has gone down, maybe dove a little too greedily, a little too deeply early on and took some damage. It's going to be really bad for the Skaven army, who, while down quite a bit in gold damage value, do have a points lead. So if they can rally, oh, and this might be their way back into the game. Assassin going for the enemy lord. Mutant Rat Ogre coming in, a really solid unit, the Mutant Rat Ogre. Magic damage, just very aggressive melee fighter. So might be able to, but the Dervishes might be able to route them back off. Weapons team's getting a nice volley in, putting some serious damage in. Aksheen is still active. Winged Lancers surging forth. That Skaven flank is more or less rolled up. I think the game really is here. If the Ice Witch can go down, Fire Blood is procced, so will be routable soon. But Skaven are going to need a serious miracle here, I think, at the moment. Little Grom's still active, pounding into a little friendly fire, probably going to happen there. Akshina could do a pack trap here on the Mutant Rat Ogre and get a lot of damage in. Nice volley from Poison Wind Globes over here into the Winged Lancers, doing about half health with one volley. But, oh, a nice swing for the Mutant Rat Ogre. Kislev is struggling to get their lord free here. More volleys coming in from the Globes, doing a lot of damage, but it looks like the lord did kind of path through the Dervishes, which did free them up. Gonna need to keep moving here, though, because Fire Blood is proc, so they could rout at this point. Over here, the Master, the Eshid Sorcerer, chasing a unit of Winged Lancers by himself. This very scary rat here, which doesn't really have any melee stats, routing off the enemy. Very scary rat. Did the Mutant Rat Ogre get defeated over here? Nope, over there going after Little Grom, not a bad idea. And the Skaven player does have points advantage, but losing objective 3 here would be pretty significant. Oh, and with the Master Assassin is back. a new rat, or maybe it's the same rat. He was injured before. It's always hard to say with Skaven, but that's going to bring Skaven leadership back. So Skaven have very low leadership initially, so losing your lord is pretty devastating. But with the cheap master assassin, you can just bring him back. And we do have a mass of rats returns. The Skaven tide is upon us once again. This seething swarm of little vermin coming back, and is a triple cap for Kislev. So very quickly, this game is going to flip, and it's going to be on Skaven to take back the objectives and get momentum.
One of your units has
So
been
Corsair 831 really needs to get busy here, and I think you need to go right now and just move aggressively, throw everything at objective one, and then in that chaos, you can maybe use weapons teams in your mutant rat ogre to get some picks on the enemy. But if you wait too long, soon you're going to need a triple cap of your own. You can see Pizu is already planning for that, moving Kiss of Light Warriors to objective 3, moving some more Kossars across to objective 2, and really anchoring in the positions while they can. So a repositioning here of the and Corsair is moving forward. Smart choice. Got Rat Ogres, got Warp Grinders. The Teeth Breakers are still online somehow. They have existed all game. Getting 1700 value, really solid. On the flank here, some Kislevites scraps lurking. Maybe going to try and get a dive. But Concealment Bombs is popped really nice on the Teeth Breakers there. So Kislev has no idea that these guys are about to. And Skitter Leap to continue the stalk and unspottle. That's really cool. So these dervishes over here are about to get mowed down, and Pizu probably won't know anything about it till it's over. Still unspottable, still unseen. Yep, and that unit no longer exists. Buyer Blood was probably already procced. Yep, so they're shattered. Really nice there. Over here we have some winged lancers lurking, and I'm not liking the look of things here for Corsair. I mean, they are going to need to take probably 2 objectives here in the next like minute or two before the victory tickets go outside their favor. There's a lot of Kislevite units they're going to have to plow through. Armored Kossars blasting their pistols in. Winged Lancers going for a charge. Nope. Oh, yep. Gonna mow down to those Skaven slaves. Warp Grinder needs to drop a snare on these guys before they're getting run over. We'll see if that gets triggered. Over here, Master Assassin going in once again. Teeth Breakers getting shot by Little Grom, it looks like. Yep. And globes are going to be in the middle, going to be able to do a lot of damage to these Kislev units, but if Buyer Blood is still proccing, they could still, yep, still has Buyer Blood. Snare does go down over here. Wolf Rats collapse, but more Winged Lancers coming in. Going to get a really solid charge here into the Wolf Rats, routing them. In the middle, Master Assassin and Rat Ogres are going to mop up these dervishes. Winged Lancers pushing into the globes, and the Wolf Rats likely going to get a break on that position. Eshin Sorcerer still running around. Mutant Rat Ogre is going for the chief prize. Looming Dread, popped by the Master Assassin, is going to slow the Lord and allow the Mutant Rat Ogre to get in, which might end up in the end of the Kislev Lord. But the points are in the favor of Pizu at this point, likely going to lead to a victory for Kislev, because, yeah, there's just not enough time. I believe it is a triple cap situation where the Skaven would need to take all 3 objectives, and I don't think they're going to be able to get to objective 1 in time, so we can fast forward here. The Lord does live for Kislev, does escape. Very Skaven-like to retreat and let their soldiers do the fighting for them.
there is only defeat.
But really great game, really solid from both opponents. Really liked the play from Corsair using the Skaven's weapons teams. I think there was some really cool Skitter Leap usage. That Wolf Rat Skitter Leap flank in the beginning was really cool and did get some nice damage on those Kossars, but 2 of those Wolf Rats units were cleaned up by the Griffin Legion, so maybe wasn't the best application for it. But yeah, that kind of skitter leap on a couple wolf rats units can really have some serious use cases into other shooting armies like Kislev. Say if your opponent's not paying attention, you could cast skitter leap on a wolf rat, send it around a flank, get on top of little Grom, and your opponent, if you're doing that while also pushing the front line, they may not notice they're being attacked until it's too late. Say if it's Empire and they have like the Sunmaker, which is an artillery piece that shoots rockets, which is normally a huge problem for Skaven. Something like that, some kind of submarine wolf rat, could really be devastating. I think really useful. Great game. Thank you for sending this replay, Corsair 831, for other people to view. It was really cool. Look at some values here. Nice little poke from the two assassins. Globes doing serious work. 1800 on the teeth breakers. Really great damage there. Not a ton of the Warpfire throwers. Um, Jezzails didn't come out. Rat ogres did a lot of damage. Really nice globe work. Warp grinders doing really solid work. For Kislev, Little Grom doing well. Ice Witch doing well. Akashina's just going off there with 2100 damage as gold value. So thank you for watching. If you want to see the other video in the series, it should be in the same playlist here. And there we'll have more Skaven Weapons teams games, hopefully getting some tournament games in soon. So make sure you stick around and watch for those videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.